Welcome! Today, we're going to break down a really simple but super powerful framework for staying safe at work. It all comes down to 5 key behaviors that can seriously reduce the risk of injury for you and everyone you work with. Okay, so let's just dive right in. Before we get into those 5 specific actions, we got to understand the big idea behind it all, which is behavioral safety. So, what exactly is that?
At its heart, this is all about being proactive. So instead of just reacting after an accident happens, or only focusing on, say, a slippery floor, this system looks at what we actually do, our habits, our actions. That's the real key to stopping incidents before they can even start.
And that brings us right to the core of what we're talking about today. The whole system is built on 5 simple, easy to remember, but absolutely critical actions. So let's break them down one by one.
The first 2 behaviors are all about using the most basic but most powerful safety tool you have, your attention. It's really just about consciously deciding where you look.
All right, first up, always keep your eyes on your hands. Now, I know, that sounds almost too simple, right? But just think about it. How many times have you been so focused on a task that you kind of lose track of where your hands are actually moving? So, here's the bottom line. Always keep your hands in your line of sight. This one simple habit keeps you from accidentally putting them near a pinch point, a hot surface, or a crush zone. And, of course, you've got to pair that awareness with the right gear, like wearing the correct gloves for whatever it is you're doing.
And this same idea of being actively aware applies to our path, too. We've covered our hands, so now let's talk about where we're walking.
Slips, trips, and falls. They are consistently some of the most common accidents in any workplace. And this is your #1 defense against them. Keeping your eyes on the path lets you spot a spill, a stray cable, or an uneven bit of flooring. It also makes it perfectly clear why walking while texting is so dangerous. It totally cancels out this fundamental safety rule.
Okay, so we've established just how important visual awareness is. Now, let's shift our focus a little bit, from where we're looking to how we're physically interacting with our work environment.
These next 2 behaviors are all about making smart choices. Choices about your equipment and about where you position yourself in relation to things that could be dangerous.
Behavior number 3 is a classic, and for good reason. Always use the right tool for the job. Look, we've all been tempted to improvise. It might feel faster in the moment, but it's really just a fast way to ignore safety features and create unnecessary risk.
The rule here is really simple. If you don't have the right tool, you stop. You go get it, you talk to your supervisor. Using a damage tool or some homemade contraption, that's not a shortcut. It's a direct path to an accident waiting to happen.
Now, this next concept, the line of fire. This is honestly one of the most critical safety principles you will ever learn. Understanding this and respecting it can literally be the difference between a normal day and a life-changing injury.
This right here is maybe the single most important rule of them all. It's a non-negotiable. But line of fire can mean a lot of different things, right? So what does it actually look like on the job?
Okay, so being in the line of fire just means you are in the path of anything that could potentially move, fall, or release energy. It could be standing under a suspended load, or next to a pressurized line that could burst, or even just in the path of a vehicle. It means you have to constantly ask yourself this one question. If something went wrong right this second, am I in a safe spot? All right, we've covered awareness, we've covered tools, and we've covered positioning. This 5th and final behavior is the one that really ties everything else together. It's all about your mental state. You see, you could have your eyes on your hands, you could be using the perfect tool, and you could be well out of the line of fire, but if your mind isn't there with you, in the moment, then none of it really matters. This is all about winning the battle against the biggest cause of injuries out there, distraction. It doesn't matter if you're thinking about something at home or what you're going to do after work, or even just letting your mind wander. Any loss of focus is a loss of safety. Keeping your concentration on the task right in front of you, that's the magic ingredient that makes all the other behaviors work.
So let's bring all 5 of these powerful behaviors together and see how they really form a complete safety mindset.
And there they are, 5 simple rules to live by at work. I want you to think of this as a mental checklist you can just run through before you start any job, and then keep it in the back of your mind while you work. Easy to remember, but so powerful. Because ultimately, this is the goal, right? This is why we practice these behaviors. It's not just about following rules. It's about making sure that at the end of every single day, every one of us gets to go home safe to our families and friends.
The big takeaway here isn't about being perfect at all 5 of these overnight. It's just about starting. So pick one, just one of these behaviors, and make a real effort to practice it all day today. Once you master it, once it becomes a habit, then you can build from there. That's how a real culture of safety truly begins.